Good morning. This video, we are going to look into ODOO as a product for handling the trading business. Uh, with this video, we are planning to address a couple of major operations which is related to products, uh, costing of the products, logistic methods, a bit about the lots and serial number where we take care of the lot based product handling, and we would also be discussing about the sales where we would be talking about the price list, discounts and sales procedures. So before we discuss any further, let's try to log into the system. This is ODOO 12 Community Edition, and what we will be doing here is we would be logging to the system with a username and a password for each associate or employee who would be using this application. So when you try to log into ODOO Community Edition, this is what the screen which you would be able to see, where you have these four icons on the left side of it, which would let you know all the modules where you have the access. Since I'm using the administrator user, I'm able to see all the modules which I have here, and I'm able to access all the modules here. So as you can see here, you have got a discuss platform which basically talks about intercommunication of employees or whoever is going to be using this application. So this is really a helpful resource for the employees if you want to have some kind of intercommunication where you don't want to drop in an email for every small thing. Rather, you want to communicate in different format, which could be a one-to-one or probably one-to-many or a broadcast message or so on and so forth. Since that is not the topic which we would be addressing for the day, we would not get in detail about it at this point of time. We would straight away get into the modules where we are interested in. So the first one which we're going to address here is products. Now, product is considered as one of the key module or key functionality when it comes to ODOO, since it's one of the major functionality which is interlinked with other different modules. Example, it is closely linked with the sales. So when you go to the sales and when you go to the tab called as products, you would be able to see the products here. Similarly, if you try to jump into the purchase, you would have something here called as controls. We have products under the purchase tab itself. So it's the same product function which is available on the sale, but you are able to see the same product which is in the purchase part of it. We also have the inventory functionality where you have the master data which keeps a track of all the products as well. So this is a functionality which is working across almost all the modules, I can say, because even if you go for the accounts, you would be able to see the products. You can see that under the products customer here. Similarly, if you go for expenses, you have products there where you would be only seeing the products which is required for the expenses. So this module is actually playing like a interconnection module with respect to all the modules related to sales, purchase, inventory, accounting, expenses, and so on and so forth. So it's really important that we understand this module in a much better way so that we would be able to make use of the best out of it. So let's start by looking into the products. So what is a product when it comes to ODOO, and what are the type of products which ODOO have, and how do you want the products to be customized, or how do you want the products to be defined inside the system. So this is a simple screen where you would be able to see all the products which you have there. I'm sure that some of you might be very much interested to see the products like this, but at the same time, a typical trading company where you would be actively working with roughly around 500 or 1000 products, you wouldn't be interested in seeing the products like this. But ODOO facilitate different kinds of view which help you to get different access. So before we move further, just FYI, this kind of a visibility or this kind of a view is called as Kaban view, and you can see that by looking into this four icons on the right side. Four dotted icons, which is a Kaban view. So that's how the Kaban view would look like. But at the same time, if you're not comfortable with that, and if you're somebody who are familiar with the old view of products, which is more of like an Excel sheet, you have something here called as a list view. Now, the moment you click on the list view, you would be able to see all those details of the product in an Excel kind of an information sheet. Now, if you look at it, it's pretty straightforward. You have all the internal reference numbers for all the products available there. I haven't provided any internal reference or barcode for any of these products, but however, if you have facilitated any of this information, it would be visible there. We will look into that in detail when we move ahead. We also have the list of products and the name of the product. So you can see each product which is available there. Moving ahead, what is your public sales price? Now, this is a default price which you are setting up for the product. Now, this could be even called as a minimum selling price probably, or something which you do not want to come down on. So you can push what exactly the price for that product requires to be. You can push those values there. Now, the next column actually talks about the cost of the product. So what is the exact purchase value, or probably like if you would have done some manufacturing, what is the manufacturing cost of this product? So that's what exactly the cost screen is supposed to be. It is currently looking at 0. The reason is like we haven't purchased any products from any vendors in this demonstration database, because we wanted to show you how the system calculates it, what are the different kind of costing functionality which is available inside the system. So that's the reason that we didn't try to do it. So hopefully during the course of this video, we would definitely be touch basing those points as well. Moving ahead, you have something here called as product category. What category does it belongs to? It's more of like you are grouping those products into different categories so that it would be easy for you to look into a bunch of items or a bunch of products which actually fall into a similar category of operations, or probably like costing methods and stuff like that. So that is what it is talking about. Now, you have something here called as a storable product. We would discuss about it when we get into the product form, what exactly it is and what are the different kind of types which is available. The next thing what you can see here is what is your quantity on hand. So this basically would be telling you that what is the total quantity of products what you have in your inventory right now. And right after that, you have a forecast quantity. So forecast quantity is nothing else but it basically looks into all the sales orders which you have there where you're supposed to have a delivery, and it will try to reduce those number from the quantity on hand what you have there. So it would tell you that okay, you have 100 products with you, or 100 quantity of product X with you, wherein you have a sales order for 50 items. So that means that even if you have 100, you if you look at your actual quantity by reducing those items which needs to be shipped out is only 50. Now there is a reverse side to that. That is like if you have a purchase order for another 200, then it would add up that 200 to your existing 50. So it will show as you would be having 250 stock. I'm sure that this is quite common with all the system. And if you do feel like some of these things you would require a bit more information, feel free to message me on this below email address, and I would be more than happy to help you with that. Now, moving ahead, let's try to see what this search window is all about. So when you look at the search, you can see that there is something which is already shown there called as products. So this is a default filter which we have applied. So let me try to remove those filter. So still now we were having roughly around, let me just check that, 24 products, and when I remove the products, I'm able to see more products, which means that this filter works in such a way that it will be looking at those things which you are basically filtering from that. So here what I'm trying to do here is I'm just trying to filter all the products which I have in my system, and it is only showing the products which I have in my system. At the same time, if I remove the products and if I look for all the services, I would be able to see all the services which I have in my company. So rather than seeing all the products, I'm able to see the services in my system. Now this is something which is very interesting, but at the same time, we discussed about this product category. So you want to understand a group of products together. So just like your filters, you have a lot of features for the filter. I would request you to go to odoo.com, and it's free for you to test it out yourself. Please put your email address and contact details, and you would be able to set up a demo for you, which would actually give you the provision to go back and search all these details. Or else feel free to write to us. We'll be more than happy to assist you with that. At the same time, apart from this filter, if you really are interested in finding out grouping this data, or probably categorizing this data, you could also do the categorization of the data with any of this field. So let's say that I'm interested in grouping all this data with the product category. So what is going to happen here is I can see that I have something called as 01 computers, where I have 3 products, and I have 02 laptops, where I have another 3 products. And if I go for 03, I would be able to see 12 products. So this basically gives you the provision for grouping your products however you would like to see it. Now, the more complex your products and the variables which you're using for grouping the content, ODOO is capable of handling those requests. So let's try to put a inner loop inside it, or probably a 2 layers of grouping inside it, which is going to be pretty simple. I wanted to know all the product type. So basically it started telling me that, okay, you have 24 storable products and 13 services. Perfect. Can I know another level of grouping for the product category? Yes. So right now what happens here is, first it tried to group all the product by the storable products. Then under the storable products, it's trying to have the products by categorization. Now with 30 products or 40 products, this does not make an impact. But at the same time, once you start having a huge set of data for you, this is going to play a very important point when it comes to your day-to-day process. The better you can utilize these functionalities, the easier you would be to work with ODOO. Now, you might be having some of the search which you have already done by taking some time, and let's assume that this is something which you're going to do on a day-to-day basis. You always have this provision where you can go back and just type in whatever values or keywords you want to give it, and you can save it. So that means that next time when you come down and when you are looking for any data, if the data is looking similar to this, but you are interested to see the same kind of a report, just in one button you're getting exactly the data how you have organized it. So that makes your life much more easier. Now there are much more things which you could do with the help of these grouping and filtering functionalities. We wouldn't be talking about it on this session at this point of time. There is another video which would be talking in detail about the functionalities which you can do with respect to group filters and saving those filters. I would try to put a link of that in the bottom of the description. Feel free to look into those videos as well. Now let's try to see what these products are all about and how exactly the products are sitting inside the ODOO. So let's say that when you try to log into the ODOO, this is what you would be able to see. Now, when you look at it, you can see the product's name, what type of a product it is. Now, just below that, you have some check boxes, which is asking you that, is this product which you're going to sell from your company? If yes, you can put a check mark. Now, if you look at this button here, the moment you uncheck it, that sales functionality is gone for you. So if you're planning to do a sales of this product, make sure that you're checking this one, which will enable how the invoicing policies or what price are you going to sell, and these kind of things would be auto-populated for you. Similarly, you have another checkbox which talks about whether it can be purchased or not. So you can make use of these checkbox. And at the same time, when it comes to international shipment, you might be having some kind of additional cost, or probably you can call it as a landing cost. So if you are basically trying to create some kind of a service where you want it to be tagged as a landing cost, you can mark it as a landing cost. We have some samples of it. We will go through that as well. And finally, we have something which can be expenses. So wherein you might want those items to be marked as expenses in your expense module. We can actually put a check mark on those items so that it would be even available on the expense part of it. Now, coming down, what you can see here, you can actually see what type of a product it is. So ODOO basically have three kind of products inside the system. So be it a sellable product, landing cost, or expense, or storable, whatever you call it, it could be either of these three. So one is like whether it is a storable product. So when you say a storable product, it is nothing else but when you look into your inventory, you should be able to see that inventory material which is sitting down there. Now, when we look at services, I'm sure that you are very much aware about it. As the word says, it does not have a physical product which you would be receiving and sitting in your warehouse. But at the same time, service is something which you basically receive a kind of activity from a vendor. So you would have a receival form for that, but at the same time you wouldn't have that as a tangible product when it comes to your warehouse. And finally, you have something here called as consumable. So what consumable does here is, it's basically those products where you do not have any forms or anything which talks about how exactly you're utilizing it. So basically, you had 20 kilogram of, or let's put it like you had 20 liters of water, drinking water in your office. So nobody's going to look at it how exactly that 20 liters of water has been utilized. So such products you can market as consumable. Now coming down, you would be able to see all the products category right below that. So you can look at all the products category here. Now below that you have internal reference. This could be some kind of internal number which you would be giving for your products. So I've seen that many companies do have their own numbering policies. And if it is something which is like a raw material, they normally provide 0, 1, ABC and some numbers. If it is like finished goods, they have a different kind of a number. So the intention behind this is just to categorize it in a much better way, and instead of typing the whole product name, which might be a very big name towards the end of it with TV or something like that, instead of it, numbers would be much easier for recalling it. And below that you have a barcodes field where you could actually fill in the barcode. Now I'm not going to take much time here. Straight away I'm just jumping into the place where you can see the sales price. So if you look at the sales price, you can see what price are you going to sell this product. Now this could be called as a public price. Now what you can do here is you can put conditions on your price list where you can tell that I want 10% additional on this price list, which is a public price list, or I want a 10% discount. You can have many different combinations of it. So we would be talking about those combinations in the next part of this video. Going ahead, you would be able to facilitate what tags are you using, and if you look at the costing part of it, you wouldn't be able to give the cost value here, because I've told the system to go for a costing method which is more of like an automated costing method. And finally, the unit of measurement, how exactly you are evaluating the quantity. So you could have a unit of measurement like a unit, and let's say that when you're purchasing it, your vendor is providing these products as a dozen. So in that case, you can have your purchase unit as a dozen. So it's absolutely possible however you would like to have it. Now this unit of measurement is completely customizable based on your different kind of purchasing packages. Typically what I've seen here is they might be having 15 unit cartons, you might be having a 30 pieces cartons, and so on and so forth. So you can create n number of such distribution methods which would be easy for you to handle it. Now going ahead, it's asking your invoicing policy. Do you want to invoice if a sales order is generated, or do you only want to allow the system to invoice when the delivery of the quantity is done? So this is another option. And what is your reinvoicing policy? Are you going to reinvoice at the same price, or are you going to reinvoice at a sales price? We will not be touch basing these points at this point of time, because it's a vast area, so I don't want to step into that. Moving ahead, we have purchase details, where you could actually add the vendors who is actually facilitating these products. And what you could do here is you could actually tell what is your minimum quantity, and what is the price, and if there is any purchase price list which was shared by any of your vendors, you could actually feed in those information inside the system. And as we discussed on the sales side of it, you have a control policy whether you want to allow to invoice only based on the received items or based on even ordered items. So that's just a simple configuration for purchase part of it. Moving ahead, this is inventory, and this is where you set out all the inventory related information. So if you look at it, it has got a lot of information here. First of all, it is asking you how are you going to get these products. So if in case you have manufacturing within your organization, you can have something here called as make to order, where there is a PLM which actually runs planning and management for your manufacturing activity. But at our case, we are not enabling the manufacturing, so it's more of like buying the product. So I'm gonna get these products from some other suppliers, I would be buying it from them. Now if I'm buying it, if in case my customer is ready to buy it from me, what is my lead time? How many days am I gonna use to get it to them? You can facilitate those information. Below that, you have the product related data, which is like what is the use time, lifetime, removal time, and alert time. So you can actually push all these details, and the system will start calculating those data for you. On the other side of it, you basically might be having different kind of products where you want to trace the product. So let me put it this way. You might be having some products where you have a lot number to trace the product. Some other products which is having a unique serial number, you might even want to have the serial number level tracking. But at the same time, you might even have products where you are not even tracking the products. So all you're going to say here is I have 50 pieces of product ABC in my inventory. You're not going to say that out of this 50 pieces, batch number 101 is 10 and 40 pieces is 102. So these kind of options can be set it up over here depending upon your interest. And moving down for logistic calculation, you also have something called as a delivery module. So if you want the delivery module to automatically compile the costing of delivery, you could actually give the weight and the volume, and even you can start pushing your HS codes. So it will do a comparison and it'll identify what would be an approximate shipment cost for the products. So that's a nutshell about what our inventory part of the product would be taking care of. Now, moving ahead, we will talk about accounting. So, when it comes to accounting, you have different kind of information which you can feed into the system. So, the first thing, what is your income account? So, you can specifically tell that if there is any income account which you're going to use for it. So, whenever there is a sales which is going to happen, that sales income would be reflected on that specific account. Now, in this demonstration, we haven't done that way. Instead, we have pushed, income account on the product category. So the reason behind that is like if I have 10 or 20 products, I don't want to come back and fill that one by one. Rather, it is easy for me to fill that on the category, and whenever I have a product, I have to call that category. So all this kind of accounting information automatically comes into the system, which actually reduces the effort or the involvement required from an accountant's perspective, while creating a product. Now, you can also tell what is your expense account. So let's say that similar to your income, if in case you have any purchase, and what should be your expense account which you want to reflect it. Any price difference account and asset types. We have detailed videos on asset types and related activities. Feel free to reach out to us on that. Now, moving ahead, we also have added two screens here which will tell us the price history of the sales and the price history of the purchase. Now, looking into the screen, you also would be able to understand certain other information. One of that is here, you have this button which tells on-hand quantity. So this is the same on-hand which we saw on that list view, where it tells that exactly how many quantity do you have there. And here the benefit is like if you have different lot numbers, it would tell that each lot in what location, how many pieces would be there. We will show you this part in detail when it comes to the next continuation of this video. Similarly, you could actually step into the forecast, which is again telling you how many products are supposed to go out for the customer, and if there is any incoming products. So it'll do that calculation and tell you what is your virtual quantity. So it's more of like a virtual quantity for you. And the product moves would be telling you all the moves, what happened on your inventory with respect to this product. So it would be more of like received from the vendor to the inventory, delivered to the customer, so on and so forth. It'll be capturing all those details. Now you have a reordering rules where you can tell that if, let's say that some of those products might be very much easily moving or fast moving products, and you want a scheduler to remind you if in case the product goes below the quantity, so that your sales is not getting affected or your stock is not actually impacting your sales process. So you have these reordering rules where you can have these reordering rules by telling that within how many times you want to get it, which should be your minimum quantity, what is your maximum quantity that you wanted. So let's put it like you have minimum as 10 and maximum as 20, and your quantity to multiply as 1. So whenever it reduces their quantity less than 10, it would go ahead and raise that purchase order, and you can set it out whether it requires to be on quotation state or directly onto the PO, and you would be able to actually ensure that these products are always available with you. Now moving back, you have routes. Routes is basically utilized with respect to how exactly you want these products to be moved out. So some companies do have some procedures on checkout. So basically, if it is sitting on a specified inventory location, you might want to take this item first for the quality, then probably for the packaging department before it goes out. So you would be able to do all these kind of things, and it talks about all the lot numbers and serial numbers with respect to that product, what you have there. And you also have the purchased button and then archive or active button. which basically makes this product active or inactive. So that's a nutshell about what this product is all about. Now, in the next video, we'll be talking about the different kind of costing methods what we are using on the system.